Sonia. I just thought I'd come on the channel here and thought maybe we could all talk about Bob Newhart a little bit. It's sort of, at the age of 94, it's been reported by his publicist that he just passed away. And Richard, in the comments, I was going through the comments on my most recent video I did about Ross Martin today. And Richard left in the comments that Bob Newhart had died. So I just thought I don't do a lot of live streams because I'm actually not very good at it. But I felt compelled because I'm sure, like a lot of you, Bob Newhart was a big part of our lives growing up, watching television, listening to records. And I just thought if the folks anybody watching here would like to make comments about Bob, we could kind of go through this together. It's a sad thing. Like I say, he was 94, and they said he'd had a series of short illnesses. So it's not unexpected, but still, it's a passing of an era, sort of. So I thought I'd go live and see what everybody had to think about that. We have quite a few people checking in here. Like I said, I'm not very good at this, so it's kind of hard for me to handle the technology here. But we'll see if we can get some of your comments on here. Michael says, so sad, a great comedian. That is for sure. I mean, I remember at a young age seeing Bob, and he had such that, dry, deadpan humor that he was really good, especially with the phone calls where you could only hear his side of the conversation, and then he let your imagination fill in the part, and it would just be so hilarious hearing his reaction to what you might be imagining that he was hearing. Alan says he was a true pioneer. He was. I was reading that I guess maybe he had been an accountant and decided to try his hand at comedy. And he got seen by somebody at Warner Brothers, and they put out this record, The Button Down Mind of Bob Newhart. And he became a star like overnight after this came out. And he hadn't really even done that much stage work yet by that time. So it was sort of an overnight success. Cynthia says he was hilarious on the Tonight Show with Carson. Yeah, I remember one of the last appearances he made on the Carson Show is he came on and he begged Johnny not to leave, which I thought was very funny. Another thing was kind of odd that him and Don Rickles were like best friends. Them and their wives would go on all these trips all over the world. They just don't seem like those two would be that friendly because, of course, Rickles had such a caustic personality and act, and Bob was more of a laid back kind of thing. Liz says Bob Newhart was beyond the best. Yes, he was. And the first show he had where he played the psychiatrist, that was so terribly funny. I mean, it was so great. Suzanne Pleshette played his wife so brilliantly, and a lot of people don't realize that Suzanne Pleshette was actually married to Tom Poston, and Tom appeared as George, the innkeeper's handyman, on the second Newhart show. I just thought that was funny that Emily was actually married to George. That seemed odd. And we got Danny here. Danny's always good for leaving comments on my channel. Thank you, Danny. I that doesn't go unnoticed. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me. And he says, greetings from South Carolina. Yeah, I think I was watching one of your videos this morning, Danny, where you had the dog was out there and you were talking about Bigfoot. If I'm not confused, you with somebody else, but that was kind of funny. Keep doing more of that. That people will watch that. Heck, people will watch me. They'll watch anything. I'll tell you what. Let's see what we got here. Lombardi says Bob Newhart is a better comedian than Tim Allen. Well, that I wouldn't argue with that. I mean, Tim Allen is a great talent. I'm a big fan of Tim Allen, but you're really apples and oranges there. Robert Melman says I saw him twice in Florida. See, I don't do live streams well. I saw him live twice in Toronto. Never stopped laughing. Yeah, I can believe that. Now, I've missed most of the comments that have come through. I've had so many comments come through, and I want to apologize because as I said before, I'm not really good at handling these live streams by myself. So I'm just doing the best job I can do here. Waldemar Ozimic. I couldn't have pronounced that correctly, so I'm just going to pass on that one. Um, M&M Enterprises says Bob Newhart was such a kind man, giving so much joy and love to his comedy. I've got my camera here in front of my screen, so if you see me leaning around, I'm trying to see this TV in front of me. It's kind of a hilarious way I have set up here. You may have noticed that I've got an autographed picture. Let me grab this. I wrote to Bob Newhart in the early 1990s, and I was just getting into autograph collecting, and it wasn't really a big deal at that time. I don't think a lot of people were doing it. And I wrote to him, and you could buy these books that had like addresses where you could write to the stars, and that's what I did. Everything was by mail. There was no email or anything like that. So I got the address, and I sent the mail card thing out to him, and he sent me a picture back, and I honestly believe that this is a real signature, and it was really nice of a big star like that to do that. Some of the other autographs I've received were like that. For example, I have one from Dick Van Dyke, but this one is very personalized to me, and I always keep this. I cherish that very much. So Bob will always have a place of honor on my wall here. And Danny here, he's taking this opportunity to promote his channel. And that's great, Danny. And that's another thing I want to make clear with my live stream here. I'm not trying to capitalize or make anything off of the death of anyone. I honestly just feel like it's good to share our experiences about watching Bob Newhart through the years, and so I'm not trying to self promote my channel or anything like that. Larry Aldridge says Bob was the funniest guy on TV. So good he made it look effortless. That's true. Maybe I can move my screen here so I can actually read these comments. Oh, there we go. See, I'm smart. I get things. Let's go back and see some of the other comments. Diana Williams says he was a great man in acting. Rest in peace, Bob. Blessing always to his family. Yeah. And of course, we can't go by without talking about when he had the end. Arch nemesis Catherine POW says, "I love the bit with Larry, Daryl, and Daryl." Yeah, William Sanderson was the one that talked in that. He later did. He was brilliant on Deadwood. If you've never seen that show, William Sanderson is a great talent as well. He didn't, the other two didn't say much, but they participated. Yeah, let's see who else we have chiming in here. Cindy D says, "Love Newhart and the Bob Newhart Show. I used to go out late night in the 90s and come home and watch those shows." Julia Duffy said Newhart was the best show she worked on. Well, sure, it made her fame. Now, is she still living, Julia Duffy? I know Peter Scolari has died. And Tom Poston, of course, he's passed away. I mean, it just seems like everybody's just falling away. I guess that's how life is, but it's kind of hard to take sometimes. Danny says, "I love your videos. They're tributes to our favorites." Yes, that's the idea. The idea is to keep the celebrities who have passed in our memory, keep their life out there, because, when we die, it won't be that long till there won't be anybody left that remembers you or remembers anything about you. Even your memory dies eventually. And it's sad. It really is. But in my own way, I try to keep some of these celebrities going, because a lot of young people probably wouldn't even know who Bob Newhart is. His second show with the Innkeeper, the Bob Newhart Show, that's been off the air since 1990. What is that, like 34 years? That shows, yeah, I mean, that's a long time. And, generations go by so quickly. And Joanne says, I sometimes watch the Bob Newhart Show. He was extremely, extremely funny at times. Yeah. Oh, here somebody says, Cindy says, yes, she's still alive. Well, that's good. Um, David James says, he didn't seem to take himself seriously, which made him so funny. Yes, yes. Oh, here we have Sally. Sally is another person that's really good. Hi, Sally. She always leaves a lot of comments on my videos, and that helps the algorithm. And I do notice that, Sally. And there's a couple other people that do that, and it really makes a difference. And every time I see your comment, I think, oh, there's Sally. So I always try to give you a like or a call back there, Sally. So I appreciate that. She says Bob lived a long life, and I love the show with the inn and the three crazy brothers. Yeah, yeah. One of the early episodes, they they found out there was somebody that was buried in the basement, and they couldn't wait to go down in there and dig them up. That might have even been the first episode. Um, Danny says I had a mini stroke yesterday and almost made a video about me. Well, you should take every opportunity. Capitalize on those strokes there, Danny. I'm just kidding. That's terrible. Yeah, so sorry, Danny. Yeah. Robert says he was married to his wife for 60 years. Yes, her name was Jenny. And that was the only marriage he ever had. And they did have kids. I forget exactly how many. But that's one of those, Hollywood marriages don't last usually, but that one did until she died. And I can't help but think, when you've been married to somebody for that long and then they pass away and you're left behind at that age, it's got to be very devastating. TMNT2105 says, rest in peace. Thank you. All right. Well, I don't know that I'm going to stay on here very long. I've said a lot of things and said nothing at the same time. So I appreciate you all watching my videos. And let me just wait a couple minutes to see anyone else has some good comments. Like I said, I'm sure I missed a lot of the good comments early on. Cindy D says within 5 years, usually they say that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go back to the beginning and see if I can find some comments. Cynthia Cronin says, I was dreading the news. Yeah, nobody lives forever. My father's still living, and he's 95, and he's doing pretty good, all things considered. Dr. Chandler Caldwell says hi. Well, hi, Doctor. It sounds like they're cutting the grass outside. What perfect timing. Yeah, Bob Newhart was one of those great comedians from yesteryear, and it's Danny says, what's your favorite movie? What's my favorite movie? Wow, come on, Danny. You know my favorite movie. My favorite movie is Godfather, and it would be Godfather Part 2 or Godfather Part 1. Take your pick. But that doesn't really have anything to do with Bob Newhart. Pawpaw Den says, rest in peace, Mr. Newhart. You provided a lot of enjoyment for your fans over the years. Pawpaw Dan. That's a great handle there, Pawpaw. And Fluffy Time, such a funny, dear human. Rest in peace, Bob. Yes, I don't know if you can hear that, but they run the mower. It's hilarious. Danny says, I was just curious. So I guess I'll wrap this up since I really don't have anything to say. I just thought I'd commiserate with you folks about the death of Bob Newhart. And I'll see you next time, unless I come to my own sad ending. Now, how do I turn it off without looking away from the camera? Oh, there I did. Okay, bye.